In last video, we have discussed about Mars in the 7th house of the horoscope. In this video, we are going to talk about what happens when you have Jupiter in the 7th house of the horoscope. So keep watching. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. You'll be getting Vedic astrological videos just like this one. And these videos will help you go further faster into Vedic astrological studies. And this will help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic astrology. If you have any question, put your question in the comment box of the relevant videos. I read all the comments and I try to reply to almost all the comments. If you are looking for readings and consultations, check out the link into the description section. And if you have any question regarding the reading, you can always reach out to me on Instagram. DM me on Instagram. I read all the DMs and I reply to almost all the DMs. Jupiter in the 7th house of the horoscope. Before we talk about Jupiter in the 7th house of the horoscope, what is Jupiter? The first thing which comes to my mind when I think of Jupiter is abundance, positivity, success, good luck, teacher, spirituality, higher belief, optimism, faith, all the 9th house things, all the Pisces and Sagittarius things. And now this Jupiter is coming into the 7th house of the horoscope. What is 7th house? 7th house is the house of relationship, business, trade, commerce, exchange, interactions, destinations, death, western horizon, other people. All that can be seen from the 7th house. Okay? And when Jupiter is into the 7th house, it can also create one of the powerful Pancha Mahapurush Yoga, which is called as Hansa Yoga. Hansa literally means swan. It is in symbolism. We always hear the word Paramahams for the people who are spiritually at the highest level, like Paramahamsa Yogananda or Ramakrishna Paramahams. We have very few Paramahams in spirituality. These are the enlightened ones. Okay, so these are nothing but the people with the highest Jupiterian qualities. Param is extreme or the highest, and Hansa literally is the symbolism. Okay, so when you have Jupiter in the Kendra houses 1, 4, 7, 10 in the own sign, like Jupiter and Sagittarius, Pisces and Sagittarius, or is exalted. That is, if you have Jupiter in the Cancer sign, this gives rise to that auspicious Hansa Yoga. Okay, today we are going to talk about Jupiter in the 7th house of the horoscope. And in some cases, when Jupiter is in the 7th house, it can give rise to the Hansa Yoga as well. We are going to talk about that later in this video. Let's get started with what is the Jupiter in the 7th house is like. The planet of positivity is coming into the house of relationship. So the person with the Jupiter in the 7th house brings in the positivity to the relationship. The person with the 7th house Jupiter brings that positivity and optimism to the relationship. And this is not only true for the marriage relationship, but you can expand this to any relationship, be it business relationship, be it the relationship between the student and the teacher. The teacher with the 7th house Jupiter is able to mentor the people with an optimistic approach, which people might appreciate. Okay, so the planet of optimism is coming into the 7th house of the other people. Next is the planet of abundance is coming into the house of business and exchange. So these people exchange valuable ideas with other people, and these people get benefited in business and exchange and trade and commerce. Why? Because 7th house is the 10th places away from the 10th house. And now this is enlightened and blessed by the optimism and positivity and abundance is the word, and surplus of the Jupiterian qualities. That's why they get the recognition and rise in their career as a teacher, as a guru. Okay. Seventh house is the house of endings, and Jupiter is the planet of positivity. So this kind of frustrates the Jupiter in the seventh house for this signification. Jupiter is all about that optimism and faith and higher belief, things which cannot see but we believe in. All that can be seen with the Jupiter. But seventh house is about the endings, about the destinations, or death can also be seen from the seventh house. So this kind of frustrates the Jupiter in the seventh house. It does not resonate with the original signification of the positivity, abundance, faith, optimism of the Jupiter. Okay, so you should not get scared. Oh, my Jupiter is in the seventh house, so it's going to end that. No, it's a symbolism. Sometimes it means literal end, but most of the times it is in symbolism, signifying the area of the endings. Okay, and that depends upon the dasha and not just that standalone placement of the planet. Like whatever you have promised in the horoscope will get unfolded with the Vimshottari Mahadasha sequence. Suppose you have the great Gajakeshri yoga, okay, or any other yoga, Saraswati yoga, Lakshmi yoga, all the Dhana yogas, all that are great Raj yogas, okay. When the planets involved in those, when you will go through the dasha or antardasha of those planets, you will experience the positive results of the planet which are involved in that yoga. Same applies to the negative yogas. But I always believe that whenever you listen to something which is negative or which is, kind of challenging, take it as a diagnosis and start working on it. Your response has the power to change the very situation. Jupiter has special aspects. Jupiter can aspect 5th from itself, 7th from itself, and 9th from itself. So when Jupiter is placed into the 7th house, it aspects the 11th house, the 1st house, and the 3rd house. When Jupiter aspects the 11th house, it enhances one's gain. It brings in that abundance into the gains, and those gains are mostly through the relationship, marriage, or the business relationships. These help the people to get the status in the society. Jupiter aspecting the 1st house imposes the Jupiterian qualities on one's personality. The person becomes optimistic, will be driven towards the high ideals, will be chasing those high ideals, and will bring in the positivity in the life. The outlook towards life will be extremely positive. From the 7th house, it also aspects the 3rd house with its 9th aspect. 3rd house is all about the communication, is about the media, marketing, and more so about the information and skills. Now the Jupiter is bringing the abundance and expansion into the 3rd house. The 3rd house is bringing the information. So these people have a great capacity to consume the information. These are the people who can read any amount of books. Especially with books, the Jupiter aspect can really bring in that expansion element. So when you have Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, Sagittarius, and Pisces, it creates the Panchamahapurush yoga called the Hansa yoga, which we discussed earlier in this video. If you have a retrograde Jupiter in the 7th house, what it shows is it will make you shy away from the relationship. You are not inclined towards the relationship. Why? Because the expansive nature of the Jupiter is now restricted due to the retrograde motion of the planet. Okay, But again, don't just jump to the conclusion with this one placement. There is whole lot to the story beyond the retrogression and the debilitation or exaltation. There is the strength of the planet. There is avasthas to the planet. There are ishtafal and kashtafal to the planet. There are dignities of the vargas in the planet. All those things need to be considered before we say that this planet is good or bad. And when you look all this, you hardly get to any extent, because it is always the mixture of good and bad. More so, the dasha plays more important role than any stand-alone position of any planet. So always remember that. Okay, so you can also yourself interpret any planet in any house by just trying to connect the significations of those planets. These are my interpretations. You should not limit yourself to this interpretations. You should try to figure out more and more interpretations to have a better understanding of yourself. If you can think of any good connection between Jupiter in the seventh house, please comment down below. So yes, this was Jupiter as much as I could hold, grasp and share with you guys. What to watch next? Go and watch How to Get Started into Vedic Astrology if you're just starting into Vedic Astrology. You can also go and watch the Planets Through Houses series or Retrogression of Planet series. Okay, sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.